What's going on, everybody? My name is Justin Godsey for the Sports Nexus. Thank you so much for checking out today's video. Today, guys, we're here talking about the Minnesota Vikings as they have just released wide receiver Greg Jennings after the acquisition of wide receiver Mike Wallace from the Miami Dolphins. This comes as a complete shock to me because a lot of people over the past 24 hours have been talking about Cordarrelle Patterson. Cordarrelle Patterson coming out of the NFL draft was one of the highly regarded prospects in the NFL. His first year was fantastic. A much promising career in the National Football League. 2014 was, the complete down year for Cordarrelle Patterson, getting benched, not, performing up to the standards as he once did in 2013. But, overall, Cordarrelle Patterson, he could he be on the trade block? Yes. But, with the addition of Mike Wallace, you have to end up letting somebody go. And that was Greg Jennings. Greg Jennings in 2015 has a salary cap of $11 million against the team's salary, so they had to cut him, and that's what they did. He's now heading into the free agent market, and is he that prime number one wide receiver in the free agent market as it stands right now? I don't think so. I still think Michael Crabtree is that guy right now. You can also look at a couple of other guys, but I still think Crabtree is up there. Greg Jennings is obviously in the top 5 and even the top 3. But Greg Jennings is the kind of wide receiver that's going to be immediately picked up. There's a couple of teams that could be on his radar. Maybe the Miami Dolphins could be looking to add a replacement for Mike Wallace, and Greg Jennings could be a fit. They just got Kenny Stills from the New Orleans Saints, so Kenny Stills is going to have a much bigger role in 2015. But they still need to add a veteran wide receiver, and I think Greg Jennings could be that guy because Miami does not have Brian Hartline anymore because he went over to Cleveland. So Greg Jennings could potentially end up being on Miami's radar. So adding Mike Wallace into the mix, Greg Jennings was that guy that was that likely man out. Obviously, this was due to his high salary. He spent the past 2 years in Minnesota. He played, just missed out in one game in 2013, played every single game in 2014. His 2014 stats were not that bad. It was a complete, it was a little bit down from his receiving yards from 804 in 2013 to 742 in 2014. But needless to say, he did have Teddy Bridgewater, who had a pretty rocky freshman year in the National Football League. So as time goes on, I was expecting Greg Jennings to really adjust very well into the likes of Teddy Bridgewater, but he doesn't have to worry about Teddy Bridgewater anymore as he is now onto the free agency and he's going to be looking for a new home. I think Miami will be a great fit for him. Possibly the San Diego Chargers could be another fit for him. So make sure you be on a quick lookout for Greg Jennings and free agency. But the addition of Mike Wallace is going to be huge. It's going to step that team right into the right direction. With the quarterback position, Teddy Bridgewater and Mike Wallace, we can end up seeing something there, pretty on a consistent basis. I would love to see Cordarrelle Patterson get a much bigger role in 2015. But needless to say, Greg Jennings is on his way to free agency. He just got cut by the Minnesota Vikings. What teams do you guys think will stand out for Greg Jennings? Do you think the San Diego Chargers could be there? The Miami Dolphins could be there? Possibly the New Orleans Saints could be there? They have to replace somebody. So let's see. I think Greg Jennings will be a good role in for those three teams. My name is Justin Godsey. Make sure you guys leave your comments down below. I'll catch you guys in my